Welcome to another edition of Brownie Bites here on YouTube. I'm Daryl Ryder coming to you from Cross Country Mortgage Campus in Berea, where the Browns put the wraps on Thursday's practice. No Myles Garrett. Chance could be just a rest day for him. If there's any other developments in that regard, we'll of course keep you updated at 92.3 The Fan. DeAndre Carter also not on the field during the open portion to reporters. Mike Hall Jr., great sign here for the second-year defensive tackle out of Ohio State. 8 months removed from knee surgery, he returned to practice for the first time. On Thursday, we heard from all three coordinators, and let's start with Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, going to be upstairs in the booth for his first NFL game, while Kevin Stefanski going to call things from the sidelines. Here's a couple of comments from Rees.
When you're kind of working hand in hand, all offseason goes smooth, all putting it together goes smooth. Game day is a different deal, right? And so we tested being down, we tested being in the box, what works best for our flow. We felt like, me being up was the best set of tools that we could have for the game day, for the communication, for the vision from the box. That's where I've been most of my career, calling it. So to have that same viewpoint to help has been important. But it's been really seamless. I think we see the game through a very similar lens. As much as I can support him on game day, that's part of my job, and making sure that we put our players in the best position. I'm pretty calm, I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about game day and, seeing the plan come to fruition and seeing the work that our guys have put in come to fruition. As a coach, as rewarding as anything as you do is when you get to go and see and coach your guys, work with them all week, game day comes, and see all the work that they've put in and all the time they've put into a game plan come to life. I mean, that's kind of why you do it, is to put your players in great success, and then you get so much reward from seeing them have that success on the field. I think there was a return to the commitment of running the football and finding ways to do it versus tough looks and advantageous looks. I think identifying who we want to be paired with what can we do up front, like what are we good at and who do we want to be, and finding out that mesh, like who we set out to be in February might not be exactly who we are today, but we've identified what we're good at, and I think identifying and then establishing a core set of this is what we can hang our hat on, and then this is what complements off of that is really important. And then you got to rep the hell out of it, and you got to commit time and effort to get to those points. And to be a great running team, all 11 have to buy in. The quarterback has to buy into the mental side of it. The wide receivers have to buy into the physical side of it. And when you can build that amongst the group, then you can really start to run the ball well. And, I feel like we've done, a nice job up to this point of building that. And, again, excited to see where the run game can continue to develop to and add wrinkles to and have some creative ideas rolling.
You'll be hard-pressed to see defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz get excited about anything. However, with a new and improved defensive line, Schwartz is doing his best to keep the poker face on and not get overly excited or put the cart before the horse. But you can tell when listening to him, he's very excited about the potential of the guys up front.
The biggest thing is our defensive line is much, much improved over last year. And I think we've got back to our personality. We saw it I think we started seeing it back in OTAs. We showed good signs of it in training camp. And I think, even though we didn't have our guys on the field a lot during preseason games, we saw it in the practices, and we saw it in the preseason games. And that's a huge, huge thing for us because, it's hard to win versus Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Yosevas and Gesicki and those guys with a quarterback like, Burrow. So, we have to really we have to win up front, and that's a big part of it. Guys like Mason Graham we brought in here to give us interior rush, brought in guys like Malik Collins to give us interior rush. Those are big things. We know they can help on the outside part of the field with guys like Myles. They can chip. They can leave tight ends into protection. But our ability to win inside in this game is going to go a long way to coming out with a win because the ball comes out so fast and, shortest distance between 2 points, straight line, and those guys are closer to the play. So those guys need to step up for us. They need to win those matchups. And, when we play our best, our D-line leads us there as our engine. Yeah, we'll see. right? But I think they have the makings of that. I think one of the biggest things is we're able to play a true form of attack now because of those. And we have improved players. I think Isaiah McGuire had a good year last year. I think he's improved over that. Alex is as good as I've seen him. Guys like Cam, adding Joe Tryon, a lot of speed there. Defensive tackles, getting some young blood in there. I think we have the makings of it, but when it's all said and done, we got to prove it on the field. I like where we're going, but let's not crown them just yet. Our secondary really needs to play well. We need to play tight enough coverage to negate some of the free access, quick throws that Burrow uses, but then also we got to win a lot of one-on-ones. When you give him one-on-ones, he trusts those receivers, and it doesn't matter if it's Jamar Chase. It could be Gesicki. It could be Yoshivas. It could be any of those guys. Burton. If you're on the field, he trusts you, and he's going to throw it on those one-on-ones. So, a lot of people look at that matchup up front as being key to this game. That matchup outside is just as key. Not number one, defending the pass, but then number two, getting those guys tackled. Because Jamar Chase is, once he gets the ball in his hand, he's like a running back, very, very strong. Higgins is a strong runner after the catch too. So we have a lot of respect for those guys. It's going to go hand in hand. Hopefully our pass rush can help our defensive backs by making the ball come out a little bit quicker than they want it to, and hopefully our defensive backs can make the quarterback hold the ball a little bit longer than he wants to, and buy some time for our rush.
Now to special teams, where the big story was the kicking competition there in training camp that saw Andre Schmidt beat out Dustin Hopkins. We heard from Bubba Ventrone on the decision to go with Schmidt over the veteran Hopkins.
I think Andre did a nice job since he's been here. Took advantage of every opportunity that we gave him and just made a decision, felt like it was the right thing to do for our team. I honestly think it was more just the consistency overall, and we felt that was the best way to go. The consistency with the practice, the consistency with the results in the game, and at the end of the day, we felt it was the best thing to do. So he hit a 64, maybe. I think that's what it was. I'd have to check, honestly. No, he can hit. He has a good leg, so he's hit balls over 60 for us in practice. I would say this: we had a lot of really good times with Dust. I love the guy. Things happen in sports, and it was time to just go a different direction.
As for the return game situation, according to Ventrone, DeAndre Carter going to handle most of the punts as well as some kickoffs. However, you could see a rotation of returners in the kickoff return game, according to Ventrone. Now let's head to the locker room, and we'll start with the 12-year veteran, Joel Bitonio, and some of his thoughts as he enters another week one.
The energy's been great. I think the mindset, the work we put in this camp, being around the guys, I feel we have a good group of guys that are working, and pushing each other. And so it's been good. We haven't really dealt with too much adversity yet, so it's easy, sometimes when you're just in camp and stuff. But we'll see how it goes as the season goes on. He's led the league in sacks, I think last couple years he's a great player. And, he re-signed, so he's back in there. But no, it's a huge challenge. I think we have to know where our help is. I think you're going to try and get chips. You're going to try and slide his way. You're going to try and make plays for him. Hopefully he can run the ball to keep him from those pass rushing situations. But it's really focuses on our fundamentals. And, knowing his premier moves, he's going to power, he's going to work inside, he's going to, work an edge. But he plays so hard, you have to match his energy as well. That's kind of where it starts. Yeah, I think the installs, you put in the plays that you've ran in the past. You're like, all right, and they pull up the clips to show you where the installs are, and it's 2021 or 22 or 20. And then you're like, all right, we're getting back to it. But then you run the plays in camp and practice. We haven't got a full game of everybody out there feeling it. But it definitely has resemblance of that. So we're in a good spot. Yeah, it's impressive. Because I feel old at times, and it's like, oh, this guy's 6 years older than me in football years. And so it's very cool to see him go. And every time he makes one of those throws, I'm like, oh, the arm has not left him. He still has that arm, and he still has that ability. to move around to run. You know, there was a couple times in practice where he was like one of the faster guys out there, you know, in the mids position, and it's like he still loves playing the game, and he still has that passion. So we're happy to have him. Well, we got to play games, right? Like we're 0-0 like every other team right now, and we had a chance to try and go 1-0 this week. I know the work we put in. I know the guys and the players we have on our team, and we're gonna go out there and compete. And luckily, you know, week 1 power rankings don't really matter. So we'll be all right, I think.
Linebacker Carson Schwesinger has impressed just about anyone and everyone this offseason and during training camp and preseason. The second-round pick from UCLA, ready for that potent Bengal offense and his NFL debut.
I'm excited, especially for it to be at home and get a taste of that and the dog pound and see what that's all about, yeah. You know, all of it's been tough in terms of learning the defense, learning, you know, the offenses we're going against and things like that. But, you know, having the guys around me and the coaches to be able to help make that transition smooth and easy has been great. I like it because I don't have school now, so all my focus is just on the game. There's definitely a little bit more and there's some differences, but, you know, like I said, it's no school. I'm happy. I mean, they're a good offense, and going into the game, we're going to have to be prepared and you know, play our style of defense that we want to play, be physical and play fast, and it should work out. I think big thing for us is we got to be able to tackle. You know, they can make a lot of plays after the catch, and if we're able to get them down, that's you know, one of the big goals is be able to get those guys down when we get hands on them. I think it was just a matter of trying to understand the defense as best I could, so whenever the opportunity came, I'd be able to handle it, and you know, there wouldn't be any setbacks or anything like that. Obviously, I've made mistakes and I've learned and stuff, but just being able to go out there and you know, understand the whole defense.
What is he really emphasizing with this group this year?
I think this year, what we really want to do is be physical, play fast, and you know, have some fun while we're playing. I think if you do those three things, you're going to be able to make plays on the defensive side of the ball and be the type of defense that we want to be.
Safety Grant Delpit continues to talk about stepping his game up even more this season and getting to another level. Cincinnati certainly provides him with just that opportunity. Here's the best of what Delpit had to say on Thursday.
I don't think I've been doing enough for the team. So, you know, I got to make more plays, got to get the ball back for Joe and them to go drive down that offense, man, and score. We know they're going to throw the ball, so it's a good game for DB, you know, I would say. You know, as long as we got to do up front, it's going to be a fun game for us outside. You know, Joe like attacking, you know, guys he trusts and the guys that he got out there. So he's going to spread the ball around. Always fun to play against Jamar. So, you know, they got a lot of weapons over there, man, but so do we. So, you know, I think they know what we got going on. Man, you should see them boys getting off the ball, man. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. The progress, Zay, Alex Wright, of course, we know what Miles does. The stuff that Mason is doing on the inside, stuff that 9-6 is doing, the seasoned vet, savvy vet, you know, so it's going to be a tough day for the O-line of the Bengals for sure.
That'll do it for this edition of Brownie Bites. The Browns will wrap up the work week on Friday prior to a Saturday morning walkthrough. Thanks as always for watching, and remember to subscribe to the 92.3 The Fan channel there on YouTube. With the Browns in Berea, I'm Darrell Ryder for Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.